I've played 3 matches so far, 2 weeks in the Washed Up League, and I'm going to check out my replays, see what I could have done better, and review why I suck, basically. So let's check this first. So versus non-orc players, I need to start getting in the habit of moving my moonwells out farther. So that's a mistake. Maybe my timing on the wisp should be changed now as well. But I would like this to be out here. Let's see. I do think Keeper is fine though. I just need to hit different timings. This moonwall was better, but it would have been... Yeah, like I like this moonwall because then if I have wisps here, I can still like use it to heal them a bit before running to the mine. But then I think my second one should be like here or like here. Creeping is good. It's good enough. He did a really good quick scout where he sees that I'm creeping this, sees what my hero is, and I can't do anything about it unless I decided to not skill treants, but I'm basically going to always skill treants on this camp first because that allows you to actually creep it before things like Death Knight, Blade Master, and Farseer and stuff show up. Usually. Sometimes if you're a little slow, they can still show up in time, which kind of sucks. The scout was good. My creeping's fine. I screwed up here by only summoning one treant. And then I went to harass, which I don't hate, but I definitely could have just kept creeping. So the thing is, I saw he wasn't at his expansion yet, but he very well could have been right here walking past, as well as having militia come through this side. So I could have been doing this right now, but actually maybe what I should have done is, since I didn't see him at the expansion yet, I could have walked over here, summoned treants, if my moonwell wasn't so far back. See, like I like this one a little bit more. Maybe out here is even better. But maybe if my moonwells are a bit farther forward, I just summon treants, hit the moonwells, and then head over. Because right now I'm heading over with only 190 mana. But I think I could have, like I said, summon treants here, have the treants plus like 2 archers creeping this, and had my keeper use up the moonwells. I think that would have been better for this map.
A player's forces are under attack.
Since I didn't see, like if I saw him, maybe I just would have came over sooner or something, or hit the moon walls right away and not use summon treants here to creep. Yeah, this was awkward when I get here and I have my wisp to potentially Deto. But his elemental's already running out. And then I see him hit level 3 from this. Or no, it wasn't quite level 3 yet, but the treant gets in it maybe.
A player's forces
Yeah,
are
once he
under
gets
attack.
this last Murloc, then it's like level 3. And then it was kind of awkward. So the thing is, some of these human players actually make a lot of footmen early. So he has 5 footmen already. He is putting up a blacksmith too. Maybe to prepare in case I happen to be going huntresses. I think I should have taken a little bit less damage here and got more entangles off. Looking at this situation like this, definitely would have been better for me to just creep instead and only head over once I see him heading to his expansion. So maybe this wisp. I don't know, I kind of like this wisp here because it's the safest from Archmage killing it. But maybe having it walk farther over here to see the militia at some point would be better. And then I can decide if I need to harass right away or just keep creeping. Essentially, if I had kept creeping, I should have been able to creep this and been like finishing this right now. And we'd be like level 3 versus level 3. Well, technically he wouldn't even be level 3 yet until he finishes the last Murloc. But now I'm kind of like, oh, this is awkward. And I mean, I can stop this, but the water elementals are kind of scary. And he kept splitting them whenever I brought wisps out. And I really didn't want to detonate just one water ellie. So here I think overall my micro was okay enough. Maybe it could have been a bit better. I probably should have just detonated at least one of the water elementals. Yeah, see, I bring them out. But but like this one expired, I think, or maybe I got the XP. I think it might have expired even. Yeah, I didn't want to use too many wisps. Overall, this wasn't that terrible for me. I didn't realize his sentry dropped down though, which I should have been able to run this away and save it. So I was like -1 archer, kind of a big deal. I don't think I needed this lore. If anything, since he hadn't expanded, I think I should have put up a tree myself. So what I'm going to do against humans that don't expand is force them to fight. So set up a tree myself and expand myself. Because if you force them to fight, then they are going to have to fight. Or they're going to have to expand themselves, which then I can push with having a little bit extra gold and stuff. So I think that entangle is good. I think my next entangle should have been on the rifleman though. I was kind of targeting the footmen because I felt like I could safely kill them. And one rifleman isn't too big of a deal for archers anyways.
A player's forces are under attack.
I don't recall the exact damage of Entangle, but I thought it was like 350 or something for level 2. So that's why I was like, oh, I can just get free kills on these footmen pretty easily. And this is fine for me. The big deal was I didn't get my tavern hero though. I should have had a wisp somewhere out on the map that could reach it. I think I had one here, but it like got killed by something. Yeah, because I had one here. Checked that he wasn't doing this again. And I moved it up, and I don't know, it either died to the creeps or died to him coming across the middle at all. But I should have actually queued up a demon hunter, I believe, instead. I think a demon hunter second is probably ideal against human if the human is not fast expanding. Because they're likely going to be going Mountain King. And Demon Hunter helps a lot against that. So here, okay, if I finally get the rifle, I think that's fine. That I didn't get it earlier, but I got it now. Lose that archer, sadly. Do I even get this rifle? Or does it escape with like... Okay, so it does die. A little pathing problem here. I feel like I could have possibly got another entangle off. And yeah, I should have already had my second hero either from the tavern or Demon Hunter from the altar. And that would have helped me a lot in fighting this. It took too long to make it.
Player's forces are under attack.
And the lore was unnecessary. Should have just kept pumping archers and archer damage upgrades. I could have had one archer damage upgrade for sure. And maybe I should have made like one dryad. Yeah, I think instead of the lore, if I had set up a tree, I could have had a tree already completed and walked over to like here. And now during this spot where we're jockeying for position, I could have crept the expansion and expanded. And now the human has to do something, right? And I don't mind fighting an army like this. Like this is where Entangle can still do stuff. You know, he has a small army, he doesn't have much to spell. So yeah, right here, I should have already had a tree walking over. Maybe now start the lore and then get marksmanship,
A player's forces are under
which
attack.
I did already. Playing it the way I did, I think after this little stopping him from creeping the gold mine thing, what I should have done is gone to the lab. I mean, I liked getting the water elemental, but now here, I should just get this militia
A
and then
player's
creep the
forces
lab
are
with
under
treants. I think. So the goal of creeping the lab, apart from just getting the XP, is I'm going to purchase a Zeppelin and then I'm going to drop in his base. So yeah, I would have ideally chased this down and killed it. Crept this. He'd probably be like, this was good too, getting this camp here, but it doesn't serve my overall goal that I need. Like ideally he would have been like here as he is now anyways, but I would have just bought a Zeppelin and been able to load up like 5 archers plus my 3 heroes. Or maybe even a 6th archer if I wanted to just walk the keeper in. If I have staff, which I do. I don't have Staff of Telly though. I think I would have put the keeper in the Zeppelin as well. But yeah, I could have essentially had him in this spot like he is now anyways. But I could have had this camp and a Zeppelin just starting to move over. And I think that would have been much better. The purpose of the Zeppelin, apart from killing peasants, is to slow down the game, slow down his economy. I guess at night could have also just bought it and like walked it out. I didn't even have to creep it. So if I had had an expansion here, I could have crept this, had the expansion up, and then gone over here, purchased the Zeppelin, and gone to harass. Like that would kind of be the ideal, right? I should have had a damage upgrade already, I think. Maybe the second one coming instead of the first one coming on there. Here I should have just used some more entangles. I was like, oh, the priest is gonna kind of own it, right? Well, I mean, it kind of did. I had poor mana usage on my alchemist. He has acid bomb, right? Yeah, it's actually pretty tough to fight the human if they like just go right after archers. I pulled my archers a bit too far back as well. I didn't pick off the 1 HP priest, which is why I was conservative with the rest of my mana on the keeper still too. I should have been able to entangle more of these. So if I got more entangles off, maybe this rifle dies. The priest should have been dead, and then I could have possibly killed another rifle as well.
Player's forces are under attack.
Assuming we take this fight. Like, better yet would have been me having a Zeppelin in his base, which essentially kind of keeps him stuck around 50 food, because he's like replenishing peasants instead and defending his base. And if you're not moving out, you tend to just stay at 50 food. I think that would have been ideal. It also would have slowed his creeping. Right now, instead, we end up just trading creeping. But experience benefits the human more because they have one of the strongest tri-heroes in the game. I'm still not making an expansion, which I think I really should have. Like, I do now, but it's probably too late now because he's going to push up to 70 by that time anyways. Yeah, he's already at 59, he broke upkeep. I stayed at 50 for a while longer, but so I have 433, which is really strong. But he also has 4-3, 2.5. And he has Inner Fire plus 4 knights with 1-1 upgrades, which is very scary. I kind of wanted to challenge him here to make a fight when he's still low supply, but he actually, like I said, he kind of broke already and had quite a lot of supply already. Maybe I got caught a little bit out of position here, lost a couple archers for nothing. I believe this fight actually starts to go a little bit better for me at some point, but the beginning was pretty bad. I need to move out more with just my heroes. And, yeah. I definitely need to keep the army smaller than this. I can't let him get Inner Fire knights like that so easily. He wisely doesn't push up against Moonwells, and my archers staying deep in my base could be kind of sketchy for him. He's getting, what, scrolls probably? Invuln. Double pendant with clap bolt. That's something, right? I don't know how this owl didn't get marked on them, but whatever.
A player's forces are under attack.
So I think this was fine by me, but I needed to like leave my melee right here and just kind of walk forward only with the keeper a bit, maybe. I got kind of blocked off by my wisps and one archer. They like blocked off my bears and keeper, and that was really awkward. This position was almost really good for me, but overextended a little bit too much. And then he just like kills all the wisps instantly. My bears haven't morphed yet. My keeper's out of position up front with no items. In better position. Maybe this fight doesn't go so bad. Like, I actually did quite a bit of damage to his knights. I had one that got staffed out at like 1 HP. One that's dying, one that's half health. So maybe if my keeper was like still around here and I had a little bit better choke point, it wouldn't have been so bad. The MK would have been tough to deal with regardless though, because he had like 470 mana and like level 3 or something and invuln pot. So I think the big things were expand early and harass economy. Both of those help a lot. Expanding forces the opponent to fight, and harassing economy forces the opponent to turtle. Both of which helps me a lot more. Second game, this one's not really worth watching. I was like, oh, I don't know if I can win with Keeper, so then I went Demon Hunter. And then it was a mess. I do kind of want to see this though.
A player's forces are under attack.
Wow. So yeah, I screwed up and had the lightning shield killed the wizard. I actually thought I got the wizard at first, and then some point when I was over here, I noticed that I was not level 2, and that was really awkward.
A player's forces are under siege.
I think this was bad. I was only level 1, and it probably would have been better just to have my demon hunter follow this too, if I was just going to run around like this and not know where the human was. Honestly, I thought he would creep like the kobolds or the trolls. He actually just harassed, which is very viable as well. It's pretty annoying to deal with early harasses when you only got a couple archers, especially when my hero is not there yet. And then the match overall was just kind of me fighting from behind this whole time. I couldn't really cancel his healing because he had his open base and walked in the back. And yeah, he's kind of just turtling until he gets what he needs now for his push. Having more XP would have helped me a lot. Maybe I should have just even kept pressuring and trying to find where he is, because if he doesn't get level 3, then his push is kind of awkward, probably. So what if I had just had an archer hidden here, and had an archer hidden here, and then just stood here or something? Or possibly even crept this if I felt able to, while waiting for him to make a move. Then when I see he goes to here, I could have gone over there myself, and with the Naga, possibly could have forced a TP or picked off some footmen. So maybe that would have been better. Instead, he gets XP here, and then he probably creeps this, right? Oh, he went for the small green first. Pretty sure he's gonna creep something though. Does he go Merc Camp? I forget.
A player's forces
Okay, so he does go to the kobolds. A little bit slower than I would have thought, but yeah, essentially this gets him level 3, and now he's like, yo, I can push anything. Level 3 Archmage, level 2 Blood Mage. Here I am missing my XP. I should have already been level 3. And if I was level 3, I could have had my Demon Hunter running around more, trying to like burn mana. Yeah, essentially I just don't have anywhere near enough. I think I would have preferred playing the Keeper style here, because then I could have just kept pumping archers and probably would have had 2-3 more archers. I would have had a Keeper, which forces him to research Dispel instead of reducing Rifle Source. I'm less susceptible to Banish. Demon Hunter's the one who's susceptible to Banish. You don't really want that. So I definitely should have just played my natural style with Keeper instead of trying something different. And then here, I mean, you're just not fighting this off with this. Like, this is the type of fight you want to have like 2 bears for already or something. But I don't know, I guess my tech was later or something. Or if not 2 bears, I at least want like 3 dryads already so I can insta-dispel this stuff. Instead I had to use wisps, but there's just too much stuff. And I don't have enough army to kill all the small things. So yeah, this one, I think definitely I would prefer Keeper, and then just creep up to level 3 or harass expansion if he decides to expand. And then once I get level 3 with Keeper, I can prevent pushes like this by entangling stuff. Okay, this is my second matchup. I lost my first matchup 0-2, but then I played a bunch and hopefully got better. Okay, here's an elf versus undead, and I'm most afraid of Gargs, fast expansion type strategies, but I was fairly certain I wouldn't face Gargs. I decided to go Demon Hunter. I'm still not totally sure what I want to do in this matchup, if I want Demon Hunter or Keeper, or if I just want like a mix of both. But Demon Hunter definitely feels super strong on some maps. So here I'm not sure if this was right. I think I liked this, but I screwed up by having my archer chase this acolyte.
A player's forces are under attack.
And then my archer gets caught by the creeps and dies. This was good though. I detonated like 3 skeletons, got level 2. Now I burned him. He used 2 coils already, I believe, on the creep. So yeah, this harass is definitely pretty strong. If the undead's just going to creep like this. But I did lose an archer, which was a pretty big mistake. And now I'm just focused on containing. It would be nice to be level 3. However, it's a little harder when I kind of screwed up with that wisp and didn't get anything out of it. It's kind of harder to get level 3 when I throw a wisp away to the creeps like I did. Or an archer away to the creeps like I did. Because I could have had like 4 archers already, which does make quite a bit of difference. I also lose an archer here. I had another archer walking into a critter. So I think I should have not had my archers so far forward while I was buying boots. I mean, yeah. Losing the 1 archer isn't that terrible, except for the fact that I already lost another archer to the creeps at the bottom when it was chasing the acolyte. And now my contain's pretty good, but I believe I actually lose track of him at some point here. Yeah, I see him here, which is really strong. But then after this, I think I lose track of him. I think I actually got the XP and the item, so that was really good. The Lich coming out means he can potentially start doing more. Like, he can pick off archers at least. So now I gotta be a little careful. But I think I could have kept pressure on him. Like getting another mana burn on either of these and then a second one makes it so that one of them will not get any spells off. Or he's going to have to use both spells instantly on, like Demon Hunter. So I should have caught him here. But I kind of walked to the left instead. So that was bad. And then because I walked to the left and didn't have this wisp like here or something, I didn't actually see him walk past. So I was afraid that he was still like here in the area somewhere and then he might come here. Yeah, I think just keeping the pressure up more would have been fine for me. Creeping is also not bad, but at some point I do need to get my Demon Hunter on him again. So this was bad. I shouldn't have moved up here at all. I should have just moved my Wisp over. Probably. See, this was the thing. I did move this Wisp over, but he had already moved past here long before. So I didn't see him here. I didn't see that he went down there. And then I figured he must be here, right? So that's why I made this mistake. Basically, I was just a little too slow on scouting exactly where he was. And then by the time I realized he's like already creeping everything at the bottom right. So I'd say I'm definitely not in great shape. Like I had an okay harass at the start, but as you can see, he's kind of just being able to creep what he wants now. This creep camp looks a little tough for him though. It takes him quite a while. Like I already crept this, and he still has like 3 trolls and an ogre to creep. And then he has to heal, which he'll probably sit at the fountain for. I think if he had crept something easier first and then gone to this after, like maybe even he just creeps my gold mine or something, or the lab, then maybe that's worse for me. Get blocked by a critter again, because why not? I get a good block on the ogre though, so that was fine. Yeah, I think this was good. I get the center. I lost track of where he was, but I did get the center. And I have level 3 demon, almost level 3 Naga, I guess. But at this point, I really need to start keeping tabs on him again. Like I said, I've been playing too... I lost track of him at some point, and then I started playing too passive. I get a Staff of Telly, but I don't think I actually use it effectively. I have a shop, but the shop probably should have been here, and my Naga should have ran to it and bought staff. I should have passed the TP to the Naga at some point. This was kind of okay though. Like I have master training, I have level 3 demon, and I'm getting some harass off on him. I get 1 fiend, but every fiend is pretty huge. My army should have probably been here already, with my demon kind of scouting up front. And if my army was here already, I could have caught this sooner. Overall, I still think not too bad. I prevented him from creeping that camp. He's kind of just running around now. And my army is fairly strong with 4 bears. This fight's a little awkward for me though. I think if he like just nuked my demon hunter at the start, it would have been annoying to deal with. Also, he didn't actually grab orb. If he had grabbed orb when he retreated from here, because he was already tier 3. He grabbed orb and then headed over. He probably could have nuked my demon hunter at the start of this fight, and that would have been rough for me. Because maybe then I have to TP out right away or invuln right away. Because I didn't have a staff on my Naga, I didn't have the TP on my Naga. If I had staff on my Naga, like if I bought that sooner, then the nuke on the demon hunter wouldn't be so bad for me because I could just staff him out, heal up, staff of Telly back in, and that would be great. So kind of a couple mistakes from both of us. Him not getting orb, me not getting staff of Telly. Both were readily available at the time we were near our bases. These units got caught out a little bit, but overall this fight is fine for me. And I should hopefully be able to get some statues. Yeah, get one. Didn't get any others. But now I can creep the red, so that's good.
A player's forces are under attack.
This expansion maybe should have been sooner as well. So as you can see, I've banked up quite a bit of resources already. I feel like this should have been sooner. I probably should have had a few more wisps. Maybe like 2 more wisps, 1 less bear, plus 1 dryad instead. Type of thing. Or maybe I made too many archers in the first place. Something like that. Okay, so he has orb now. Sackbit. My levels are good though. But I definitely needed to... I need to get orb and staff at my base at some point. Should be moving out sooner. Wait. Also, I should have gone to here. I think if I had moved out right away, I could have already been here. And this creepjack would have been pretty good for me. He does have a TP. He is 332, but as you can see, not everything is healed up yet from the statues. So yeah, this was a mistake. I knew he was going to be here because there was nowhere else for him to go, right? Because he had obviously been creeping my side of the map earlier. I think I put it together too late that he crept this type of thing. But yeah, I should have been here because his lab was gone too. Instead, I'm kind of just wandering around and I'm like, oh, I should maybe just creep the other red fountain, but he had actually already crept that, which surprised me, and I think is actually surprising. It definitely wasn't an efficient creep for him to take at the time, but he is able to do it with fiends, so I guess it's probably not bad if you're able, since he's able to do it. But yeah, this could have been much better for me if I had crept Jack here. Maybe even used my wisp to scout it by moving it there while I was creeping the fountain, or when the fountain was finishing up. I do manage to get my expansion up though, so that's good. However, even that could have probably been out sooner. Maybe could have had Nature's Blessing, could have had a couple wisps on wood, or a couple wisps more on wood already, so that I could afford some of that stuff, because I'm kind of sitting with a lot of gold and not much wood. I do finally decide to break though, since I'm getting my expansion up. And then I think from my side, I am basically hitting a point where I'm becoming pretty strong, and he's going to have to push. He does have good levels. He gets 333 here, so that's really scary. And yeah, I'm kind of just wandering around doing nothing because I don't really know where to go at this point. Like everything's kind of crept, right? Besides the 2 small greens. Getting to the shop was good for me, but I should have already been here. I should have already bought my item. I don't know if I would have bought Invuln. I probably would have bought Heal Scroll. So I wouldn't have denied that anyways. But maybe I should sell Mantle and buy Invuln plus Heal Scroll instead. But yeah, I definitely have the stronger army in this fight. A little slow on the Dryad micro. Bears getting Fiends is strong, but my ranged probably... Okay, I did get the Destroyer. So yeah, overall this was actually pretty good for me. I think this could have been better for me sooner if I had done things like creep checked here, kept better tabs on him, maybe got more mana burns off earlier and used my staff if I run into trouble. But overall, I think I just created enough of an advantage early that I had a strong enough force to defend this. And now he's going to realize I have an expansion and it's kind of do or die for him now. But he lost too many fiends. So I think at this point I essentially already won. Frostworms are actually pretty annoying to deal with. He goes for early damage upgrades too. Which is probably why the Frostworms seem so good. Right? Because with those damage upgrades, any bears die super quickly. However, because he doesn't have much of a ground force now, it's not that big of a problem. If he had maybe waited longer before taking this fight, and he still had his 3 fiends behind this army, maybe I actually would have been in trouble here. So yeah, I definitely needed to not make some of the mistakes I made earlier so that this fight here isn't so bad for me. I also probably should have just positioned back over here. I don't mind my Demon Hunter being up front more in case I can get a burn off, but it's a little sketchy because of Frostworms. This was a mistake by me. I should have staffed, I think. Well, I guess the Invuln is fine, but I staffed a bear instead. I was supposed to staff the demon and then staff of Tilly back in. But yeah, with his triple damage upgrade, he actually melts my bears. Like, all 4 of my bears are dead already, and I only killed 1 Frostworm. But I did get his heroes extremely low. I think if he hadn't lost his 3 fiends in this fight here, like, I would have only had like 1 more Dryad. I don't think I lost a bear in this fight. I think I just lost like a Dryad and like an archer or something, maybe. I don't know. So if he had had those like 3 fiends and I just have like 1 more Dryad and archer or something, I think that actually benefits him a lot more, and maybe this push would have been really scary. Instead, I managed to survive. I think I do TP here though, but basically he lost his 2 worms. He lost 2 heroes. I definitely could have lost that game. A few mishaps of losing track of where he was, and a few instances where I was too slow to creep made it so I had quite a bit of trouble. The early game was good for me though, but like the mid-early game, I shouldn't have lost track of him. So here I decide to go Demon Hunter again, which I think is fine on this map because it's a pretty small map. But I make a big mistake. I definitely could play Keeper as well. But my big mistake is
Your building is complete.
that this Wisp, even though it sees these things, they only like very briefly show and I didn't notice them.
Engage the enemy.
And now when I check this, I'm like, oh, he's not there. What is he doing? And yeah, I was too late to see this. Basically, I was supposed to already see this. And instead of creeping this, I should have already been like right here with my Demon Hunter. Which means I wouldn't have been level 2, but I would have had 200 more health right now. And 200 extra health on your Demon Hunter helps quite a lot for stopping this. Also, I should have had my Wisps here to detonate sooner. Get the skeletons, get the blight. I think he coiled the first Wisp or something. But yeah, I was definitely too slow. Like by the time I reach here, his ziggurat was already 3/4 done. And that was, like, this is honestly game losing already. 2 base undead versus 2 base elf is in favor of undead in my opinion. Especially because his base is going to come out much sooner than mine. And yeah, now I'm here, this awkward position. I haven't started my Hunter's Hall yet either, which is pretty bad. Even though I have the wood for it. So another thing I could have done, if I had wanted, was definitely the Hunter's Hall, but I also could have put a Ancient War like here. Which both helps me produce units to push, as well as can potentially help me creep this really quick at some point if I ever need to back off and heal.
A player's forces are under attack.
And I think I would have preferred that compared to how I played this. And yeah, now I'm not getting that much accomplished anymore. He has a Nerubian up. My force is too small. I can't afford to be detonating wisps all the time right now because I'm like still mid-tech. I finally get my hunters all up, but I think it should have already been halfway completed, possibly with a second Ancient of War. And yeah, an extra 100 health on my Demon Hunter also would have helped a lot had I not prepped that. Because if my Demon Hunter was like 350 health right now, I'd feel a lot more comfortable pushing in at times.
A player's forces are under attack.
Let's fast forward a bit. I mean, so far this isn't that terrible for me. I get the Necro cancel, I kill like 2 ghouls, and all I've lost since then is a little bit of health on stuff. But I think, I'm not sure if Panda's the right choice. I think if I'm going to do Panda like this, I should have got a second Ancient of War, I should have got damage upgrades, and I should have been producing maybe 2 Huntresses and 2 Glaives. High Archer count is fine because his tech's late, which means I don't have to worry about Nova. but it is nice to have a couple huntresses up front and a couple glaives so I can actually push more effectively. So I think this was a mistake by me to not commit to my push. I think I didn't realize how late his tech was as well. He's probably just going to tech now, right? Yeah. I was thinking his tech was probably like halfway done by now or something. So I was like, oh, maybe I should just back off and do creeping. You know, creep these middle things to deny it from him. Creep this, potentially get Wand of Illusion or Sentries or something. Sentries. If I had a second Ancient of War, I could have been able to fight this. So like creeping this isn't so bad, but I should have had a stronger army so I can actually just fight this already. Instead, I think I lose an archer or two for free. Okay, I don't actually lose any archers, but I do lose a TP, which sucks. And then, okay, honestly, even at this point, I still could have committed more to a push if I had wanted. I just didn't yet. I went double lore and I was like, oh, maybe I'll just push with bears and stuff. And so I decided to creep instead, but I don't think this is very good. You really don't want to face a large undead army, even if you have a tech advantage. I saw he was coming here from something. The Sentry Ward, I think. Maybe the Wisp saw him a little bit. I can't remember. I did get a ghoul, but like, I don't know, I'm not accomplishing much. I think the play would have been to set up the second Ancient War and then just all out push this. And probably instead of Panda, I make Naga or at least Keeper. Probably just Naga, because then I can get it out of the tavern. Okay, and here I get level 3 demon. The good play would have been to start trying to pressure the undead again, at least with my demon, while Panda creeps. Or possibly even with my whole army. Probably just with the demon though. Maybe with my whole army if I had a Naga. Yeah, I think I do bring my demon up. I actually didn't creep them. I thought I crept the middle. I guess I creep them later at some point, right? But yeah, I do bring my demon up. I set a Sentry Ward so I can keep tabs on him. See he's here. I try to burn, but I can't really steal stuff because I don't want to get stunned from the golem. And now I make sure to take the middle stuff so he doesn't get them. Like, that's good and all, but I think I'm just in a bad spot because I haven't actually expanded yet. I don't think I can push anymore. Like, he's already halfway to tier 3 now. And I don't have like any bears. I have like one bear with master. So I either needed to get my tech timing faster or push more with dual Ancient War. I think I would have liked dual Ancient War pushing with possibly an expansion behind it as well. So I think I could have had dual Ancient War pushing if it failed but like slowed him down. I still could have had an expansion behind it, and that could have already been up and running at this point, I believe. My tech would have been later, but I didn't need my tech because it's not like he had his tech either. So I think that would have been ideal. And then he actually ends up creeping this, which is pretty strong. I was not expecting him to get red camp so early. Like, he doesn't have Orb of Corruption. He only has 3 Fiends. I don't think... He might have lost 1 Ghoul. Maybe not. I don't think he lost anything, actually. That's really strong from him. I have good levels. Like, I'm high level 3 on both heroes. I have Rune Bracers. But he's already banked up a ton. And I just can't do much at this point.
A town is under siege.
His army's still weak, but it's super hard to force a fight in the undead base. Maybe I should have taken the lab and bought sappers. Like, that could have been something, I guess. I probably should have been more willing to fight his army too. Did I just like completely back off, or did I jockey for position still? I was still here, but I was too late to morph my bear. So I lost 1 bear at the start for nothing. That was bad. And now I'm like, oh, what do I do now? I think the problem is that even though these archers are kind of strong, they are very susceptible to Orb, Nova. You know, he can just walk in, get a couple of hits off, walk back in, get a couple of hits off, and like, the archers can't really siege because he has statues and lich. I end up wandering around, not doing like anything. He already has a shade on me, which maybe I should have known because I probably saw that already. I think at this point I'm just already in a bad position. I should have committed earlier to either all out pushing or getting my counter expansion up right away. But yeah, I think now it's too late, right? I still get up a decent force, but the problem is my force was like largely archers, and archers lose a lot of effectiveness at this point. I see he already crept the red, so I end up, honestly I just end up wandering around a lot, not accomplishing much, and he ends up accomplishing a lot more in terms of hero levels. He got level 3 lich. This positioning by him was really good. I couldn't do anything about it. And then with a Frostworm and Orb of Corruption, he actually creeps the Ogre Lord super fast, which allows him to lose 1 crypt and a TP in order to get the high profile creep with claws plus 12, I believe. That's pretty worth. Because now I go over here, but I'm like, oh, he probably already finished the ogre, right? And yeah, he did. He's got 2-1 upgrades. I have 2-0 only. I probably should have had like 2-2 already. I should have had expansion up longer. I'd start denying my archers because I'm like, I can't fight with archers. But I think that was actually... I think I did that too soon. He was already 80 food, so he was pushing. And now I'm like stuck 6 food lower than I should have been. And honestly, archers aren't even that bad on this map because of all the choke points. Like, they're annoying for him as well to reach the archers. Yeah, I could have had 3 more archers here. It wouldn't have resulted in me winning this fight though. Like, honestly, undead armies are just... I probably could have killed the 1 Frostworm. So that would have been big, but otherwise, I was definitely behind already. You just had a lot of high tier units already, and I was still with, you know, archers. I think ideally I would have had
A town is under siege.
some hippos added in. force him to get web, as well as force him to run his air around or heal them rather than nuke me, and so on. Lost my expansion, couldn't do anything about it because army's too slow. He keeps getting more creeps, and I can't really do anything about it. Like here, I think it was fine to get rid of my archers, but I probably should have still had them at the right side. But yeah, essentially I think I let him creep too much. I should have had this like... Well, I don't know. Maybe he would have still been level 4, but it would have been like here. Still level 2, but here. And maybe Lich is like level 3. But either way, I should have done something to either limit his levels, get my expansion up sooner, or pressure his expansion. Any of those things. I kind of just didn't accomplish any. All I accomplished was getting my heroes decently leveled, but then I didn't do much else with it afterwards. I was like level 3.7 like 7 minutes ago on both heroes, and now I'm like barely past level 4. So for like the last 7 minutes, I essentially did nothing besides produce army. Like I didn't really get any creeps. And that's a big problem. He has 3-1 upgrades, which are insane for fiends and worms. And all these choke points are really hard to fight in. Which is why I'm wondering maybe I should do air on this map rather than Dryad Bear stuff. Wagon is really annoying as well. Makes sure he gets Disease Cloud on everything. Makes my Dryads always have to move. Like honestly, this fight didn't go that terrible for me, but now I'm stuck not being able to fight him again because, well, he probably should have bought TP on his Death Knight. He has plenty of gold. His economy is just way too high. He's actually at 95 food already. And yeah, this is where you kind of see these choke points come into play. Like I can't take this fight, but I still tried to force it, and obviously it's just bad. Maybe if this map had better fighting positions, I could have still had okay fights. Yeah, I definitely just fell too far behind early. Had a huge gold disadvantage. My expansion should have come up sooner, or I should have pressured more, or both. So that game was definitely rough. So the score is 1-1 in this series. But I do have a much better game 3 now. Okay, I like this Moonwell a lot more than some of the other ones I've been doing. And this one. And I decided to keep her here. He does see it. The Acolyte. Oh, he actually crept to this right away. And got his tech off. That's pretty strong. I guess I should have had a wisp over here. One of these wisps should have been sitting here. And then if I detonated on here, he actually wouldn't have been able to creep that. So he'd be like level 1.4 or something, because he would have only got like 1 creep, let's say. I did get detonate off, but it was on his old rod usage anyways. I think I get another detonate off, but these creeps aren't that hard, so it's helpful for me in terms of XP. But since he actually took the tough creep first already, it's not slowing him down too much. Do I detonate again? I thought I detonated again, but maybe not. I guess not. I think I killed his echo at some point and he didn't really see me creep that. But he has his sentry already. As far as my timings though, I really like this. I get an expansion up. We have been kind of trading XP. I should have been able to limit him more through use of better detonates on his creeping. Especially this camp, if I had detonated him here. That would have been great. I was not expecting him to creep this first. I figure an undead would just creep, you know, either this or just creep one of the small greens for corpses and then get like 1 or 2 rod uses out before even starting this camp. And then if you start this camp afterwards, I feel like it'd be a lot easier. But I guess by him creeping it first, I just didn't even expect it and didn't get detonates off.
A player's forces are under attack.
I should have had better scouting of it though. Like I said, one of these wisps should have been on the right side rather than both of these on the left side. So he's level 3 already, I'm level 3 already, but I have an expansion halfway up, my tech finished, I'm getting my second hero. I went without hunters all this time so that I could just go wins. And I think I had mishap here of not getting entangles off, but it's probably not too big of a deal on just ghouls anyways. Especially because he can afford using coil right now. Oh yeah, I saw him on sentry or something, I think. I don't remember. Yeah, sentry here. I was like, oh, I should have started this faster, but then, right, I had vision, I knew he was coming. So this fight was a little awkward for me. I took way too much damage on my keeper. I did get his Naga though, I believe. Yeah, barely. He actually got to the shop, but I don't know if he got a potion or not. And now this is good for me. Like I'm just getting some entangles off and his stuff's dying. And now he can't really challenge me in the middle. It was kind of bad of me to have to use my TP, but... Okay, so he didn't actually get a potion. Oh, and this sentry ward was huge. He lost a fiend. He might have, and another fiend. I think he might have lost a ghoul. See, I really like how I played this game a lot more. Maybe I should have broke past 50 sooner. But otherwise, I got my expansion up. I pressured with my dual hero and a couple air units. Level 2 entangle. And it's actually tough for undead to deal with that until they have a destroyer out, as well as orb of corruption. So I kind of caught him like just in time in this like 1 or 2 minute window before he gets these. Because now the next time I see him, he's going to have those, and now I'm like, and I make the wise decision, right? Like I see this, I'm like, oh, he's got Lich now, and he's got Orb of Corruption, and I'm like, yeah, I am out of here. So I back off, and I think that was really smart. Well, I somewhat back off. I'm still kind of sitting here because I wouldn't mind trying to creep jack him somewhere. But then my sentry ward runs out and I don't place a new one, which was awkward. I should have had a sentry here again, probably. Because now he's going to actually get the red camp. But I don't mind this. Like, I get his gold mine, which is also a pretty valuable camp for the big or medium item, whatever. And then I think I harass his base, which is also a really strong play. Or did I see him here? I think I saw him here with a wisp. And I go to creep jacket maybe? Or no. Yeah, I do just go to his base. My pathing was just different than I expected. I thought I would just go over here. And I think this is a really good play from me. Just continuing to harass his economy. Because when you harass their economy like this, it makes their timing push slower. And I am getting tons of resources for myself. And I actually managed to get out of this fight without teleporting, which is huge. I think it's largely because I had already killed 2 fiends earlier with Entangle. So that was really nice. And honestly, at this point, I think I really only can lose if I screw up. Like, yeah, I'm at 62 food. I still have 1,300 gold. With 4 fairies in production. Upgrades in production. Some of these should have been sooner. Because I should have had more wisps on wood sooner to have better wood economy. But otherwise, pretty okay. Whereas his side, he's at 37 food from losing the couple acolytes, losing the couple fiends to entangle. So yeah, this is kind of just one of those games where you create that early advantage. You get an expansion up, and then you harass enough to where they don't even get to make their timing push. So yeah, now none of this is that detrimental to me anymore. When he is getting some of these levels and items, it's like, yeah, it's helping him when he gets high level heroes, but I've already created such a gold advantage. I was a little slow here to do stuff. I probably could have caught him out here sooner and actually taken the fight, because I have like 9 fairies right now. And 5 hippos. I was a bit slow with my alchemist. I didn't use Staff of Telly to get back in the fight. I saw he crept this, and I believe I knew he crept this from how he hadn't gone here earlier. So I knew he'd be up top left. So I get a creep jack. It doesn't actually result in any kills, but it does mean I get the red and then I get to harass after. Knowing if his army was stronger, maybe my play would have been to harass directly rather than creep the red. But otherwise, I think this play was fine by me. And I think the rest of the game was fine by me. I essentially just had too much of an advantage already. Like, army count. Yeah, he's at a 50 food tri-hero. Almost 4-3-3 heroes. Like, timing push type thing. But then on my side, I'm at 80 food, and
Grove is being desecrated.
I don't even have to fight. I can just harass his economy. I think he might actually kill the tree here, but I get his gold mine. I have another tree coming up, and it's like Yeah. It's kind of game over at that point. I even stick around to do extra damage. Get a statue and a zig at the cost of like maybe 2 fairies. And yeah, that's essentially what can happen when you create an early game advantage like that, or where they can't stop your expansion right away. I'm not sure if Priestess is the right choice here. Maybe I should be getting like Naga or something. I kind of just wanted Priestess because the extra damage helps a lot on these units.
Your building is.
I don't really know what's right though. Or if I'm not even supposed to get a third hero, maybe I just stick with Keeper Alchemist.
Our sacred grove is being.
Yeah, he does kill another tree. But like I said, I have trees here. I probably start a tree here. And I just keep harassing economy. Can't do anything against it. But he basically just can't afford TPs, and he can't get around the map fast enough to be everywhere. So my advantage was just too good too early. That game felt well done by me. Maybe a couple things I could have done better, particularly the detonate on his orange camp on the right. The first camp he crept. I was not expecting him to creep that. I don't think it's common either. I think most undeads creep the green with the ogre, trapper, and null purge guy. Or they maybe creep a small murloc, get skeletons, and then go to the orange, something like that. Or they harass, something. I think those are more common, so I don't really fault myself for not knowing that. But I probably should have had my wisps in better position to see it if it did happen. Okay. I won that series 2-1. It was definitely pretty close in the first 2 games. Like, I very well could have lost 0-2 if I just... Yeah. And now we got my next series that I played today, which is an Elfmere, and I do not think I played this optimally. Yo, what up? Yeah, I'm okay. Just kind of going over my games, seeing where my mistakes were, what I could have done better. Yeah, this game, Elfmere, I decided to play Demon Hunter, even though I was fairly certain he had played Priestess. I still think I wanted Demon Hunter on here. Maybe I should have gone Keeper on here, actually. But I haven't really practiced Keeper. And I wasn't positive if he would go Priestess on here, because it was our first game. This creep was bad. I moved into position poorly, got these like split up. I guess I haven't crept with my Ancient of War on the stronger side like this much, so I'm not actually used to pulling it properly. I usually creep it from here, and I get at least 2 of the units, and oftentimes all 3 hit by lightning shield anyways, so it's safer and still good. It just makes this creep worse because my Ancient of War is not next to it. Okay, so I was late on wisps already, I think. I should have already had this wisp queued up and running. But otherwise, I got my levels quick. I didn't really see the Priestess, but I knew it was a possibility. Especially because I didn't see him creeping here or coming over here yet, which made me think he is taking
Our
longer
sacred grove is being
through the use of
desecrated.
a hero like priestess. He also, did he not make an archer? Yeah, I think that's a mistake by him. He's sitting at 17 food. He didn't make an archer or make more wisps. I don't really know what that is, but but I think from his side he should have made an archer here, because it's just so much faster creeping this when you have a lightning shield archer, which would have allowed him to harass me here when he sees me with his wisp running over to this side. If he doesn't see me with his wisp, then he runs over to this side knowing I'm likely here. So I think that was a mistake from him.
Our warriors have engaged the enemy. Our sacred grove is
From
being
my side, I definitely should have used my wisp here to check what he was doing a little bit more. He goes Owl, which is really strong on this map. Like, you can already generally know where your opponent is, but Owl is,
sacred grove is being desecrated.
you know, makes it even more assured, as well as makes it so he can see your archers when they shadow meld, and that is a huge problem because they can die super fast. I do like that I crept to this camp because I knew he was going to be coming to harass now with his priestess. And I think if I went for the kobolds or something, it would have been pretty bad. I wanted to creep this, but he's actually waiting here now, I think.
I stand
Our
ready.
sacred grove is being desecrated.
He stopped hiding for some reason. I think he could have just kept hiding here. And then he could have hit my archers right away, right when I started this. I should have had better scouts for the ancient protectors. Maybe I need to put a wisp here and like a wisp. I did put one wisp over on this side, so that was smart. But I should have had one like here and here, maybe. And then hopefully my moonwells are in range if Priestess harasses them to where I can pull them back in time and heal.
Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
And then I do make a huge mistake this game as well.
I stand ready.
Which is
Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
coming
Our
up
sacred
pretty
grove is
soon.
being desecrated.
He should have been able to steal this, but I got lucky. That actually helps a lot because now I'm just about level 3. Losing the archer is pretty huge though. Also, somehow I didn't pull this archer back.
Our
I don't
sacred
even
grove
remember
is
this
being
archer.
I
desecrated.
stand ready.
That's actually pretty huge. I lost 2 archers like that. I didn't even remember that archer existing. So I kind of lost 2 archers for free, which is a big deal. But I did get level 3. And I set up a second Ancient War. Maybe that should have been sooner. Also, my big mistake is my Hunter's Hall is non-existent. I actually thought I set one up. And then later when I looked at this, I thought this was the Hunter's Hall. Oh, sorry. I'm kind of ignoring chat a little bit. I see the chat, but yeah. You don't have to worry about your English, dude. You seem fine enough, especially if it's, you know, like second language. Yeah, my big mistake here was I should have had a Hunter's Hall like just about completed by now, or already completed. I do like that I had 4 Moonwells already, because you do want Moonwells early so that they're piling up a lot of juice during the night so you can actually fight this more effectively. But not having the Hunter's Hall is a huge deal.
I stand.
And I believe like this goes okay-ish for me, but now he's getting his towers up and I don't stop them. I think I should have maybe forced a kill on at least one of these towers. Also probably should have just revealed and hit one of these huntresses because I could have killed this one. But yeah, right here, I look at this and I'm like, oh, my Hunter's Hall is almost completed. But then I forgot this was an Ancient War. And I was like, wait, I'm tier 2 and I have no Hunter's Hall against an AP push. This is really awkward. I mean, luckily archers are decently strong defensively. So I kind of get by with that. But I do lose one Ancient War. I only now start a Hunter's Hall. I choose Pit Lord, which I'm not even sure if it's good. It's probably not good. Maybe I should have just chose Tinker. Although I don't really like Tinker when his APs are already up. Because I feel like the factory kind of sucks. Factory's kind of mediocre when APs are up already, because if the APs hit the factory itself, they can kill it pretty quickly. If they hit the robots, they one-shot them, I believe. So that's why I went with something like Pit Lord instead. I didn't want to do Panda because I feel like Panda kind of sucks. Maybe Pit Lord is fine. Like, all three of his spells are useful against these pushes. I went Rain of Fire, and Rain of Fire is actually pretty good if he goes Glaives at some point too. So yeah, the big mistake was the Hunter's Hall. If I had this up already, I could have had an AP here, and I could have had like 1 or 2 Glaives producing. Oh yeah, Beastmaster is a choice. Beastmaster is definitely viable. It's a little bit countered by someone who uses wisps to detonate, but that does also force him to bring wisps into the fight that he might not want to, especially since he's using those wisps to, or he should be using those wisps to make more APs or repair and stuff to, I don't know. But yeah, Beastmaster is definitely viable. I chose Pit Lord. I mean, I don't know if it was good, but it seemed okay-ish. Like, he does decent damage to buildings. Cleave and Howl are both viable as well if I choose to go for either of those. And we're kind of just in this jockeying match going back and forth. I think the big thing for me here was he somehow didn't seem to get any stronger. And I think the reason is because this well was maybe late. And he teched to tier 2. Let's say this well was sooner and he didn't tech. He could have had like 2... Oh, and he has 2 Huntresses queued up. So yeah, if this well was sooner, he could have had theoretically 2 more Huntresses here, as well as 2 Glaives probably partway through completing already. And then his push looks really scary, right? So I think that was actually lucky for me that he didn't have that already. I very much should have lost this because of not having my hunters all up right away. Like, I'm only now getting a protector when he's already killed a well, an AOW, half of another well, and he has 2 AOWs of himself up. So bad. And then for his side, he needs to actually start using these moonwells up. He has 2 of them full. He has what, 1 weak hunt here, 1 weak hunt here. Probably send this one back. This one healed, but should be brought back in the fight. Like once he does all that, it's looking really scary for me. This lore should have been here. And this moonwell should have been probably just here. Somewhere. Anywhere just in the back that it can fit. But yeah, I think if he hit his production better, I would have lost this for sure. Although if I hit my my hunter's all timings and production timings, my ancient protector, my all this stuff, maybe I also would have been able to hold this better. So, you know, definitely mistakes on both sides, right? He does get so many of my buildings though, but
Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
he probably also could have had 1/1 upgrades completed already. I mean, he's almost complete with it, so I guess it's fine. And I don't know what this glaive was doing here. It just like kept wandering around. But yeah, I think if he had produced more effectively and had his own glaives, he could have defended these APs better. He could have had a couple wisps repairing. Maybe his APs should have been over here so that he has trees to eat from as well.
Our sacred grove is being desecrated.
But yeah, now I'm in an okay position. Like, he's still got a strong force. He probably goes heal spray and gets a heal scroll. Yeah. So like, he still has a chance to win, honestly.
Stand
Our
ready.
warriors have
But I'm definitely sitting much better now than I was before. I make a smart choice of getting rid of the trash items, getting double heal scroll, and
Your building is complete.
I do go tier 3, but I'm producing mostly Archer Dryad because I think that's all I need right now. Archers are a little sketchy if I get caught out in a bad spot and they just die right away. But generally, they should be
Our
decent.
warriors have engaged the enemy.
So he does get 1 archer there. See, like this was... So if he had sent like just these 3 hunts after the glaives and then this army after my archers here right away, that actually could have been really bad for me. Instead, he turns back all the huntresses on the archers. And I think he actually gets quite a few kills. But honestly, even though this is really costly for me, I do have a Pit Lord and a Demon Hunter getting quite leveled up. Yeah, I think if he split his army there better though, and hit the archers sooner, that could have been even worse for me. So that definitely could have been a spot
Stand ready.
where I just lose. Oh yeah, I do actually get a Zeppelin here I think soon. I am not affiliated yet. I'm still deciding when I want to. Like I mean I want to be affiliated, but I also kind of want to be better about streaming more, as well as continue to build up people that are interested in watching me maybe, and then and then do the affiliate stuff. Okay, so I do get a Zeppelin now. It was definitely late. I should have had it already when I was here.
I stand ready.
I think I buy another heal scroll actually or something, or an invul. Yeah, he's starting to mix in archers now, which is probably smart at this point. He does go for an expansion though. Honestly, I think he could just commit more to all-in push stuff. I think I do what he does a lot when I try to do priestess with expanding and stuff. But honestly, priestess is just, or the priestess hunt stuff is actually just pretty strong if you simply just push all the time and build up past 50. Like imagine if instead of this expansion, he has 1160 gold and like 280 or 290 wood. Like he could have a set of 4 glaives right now plus a zeppelin on top of what he already has, right? And he could have had one less moonwell, which maybe gets him another archer or 2. And then this army, if he's outside my base with this army and like 4 glaives and a zeppelin, like that's pretty scary, right? Like I probably lose. So I think for him, that would have been much better than expanding. Essentially his macro was down. We saw his macro down earlier as well when he was at 38 out of 40 food, but he had like 800 gold. Plus like 2 things queued up or something. So I think if he had like a little bit better macro,
Research finished.
I would have been overwhelmed this game. And yeah, like I said, he could have had 4 glaives and a zeppelin right now. It would have been really bad for me. This positioning was pretty good for me. Where he had to kind of come around the tree line. And now I just move stuff back a bit. My front line's tanking the archer hits. I got a zeppelin to move the dryads back. Yeah, and that's kind of the game. I feel like I think I played against him once before where he went Demon Hunter, but I also looked at a lot of his games and I saw a ton of Priestess play. So I was actually expecting Priestess on most, or at least 2 out of 3 games. But we ended up only needing 2 games and he played Priestess on both of them. I actually chose Concealed Hill as my winners map or losers map or whatever, so that like if I lose we play Concealed Hill. And I did that because I was planning to just not lose and I didn't want to play Concealed Hill. So I set it up that way with my picks. Because I did not want to play Concealed Hill against him when he goes Priestess, because I didn't want to go Priestess myself or anything. And I wasn't confident against Priestess on a fountain map. And luckily for me, I did end up winning 2-0 on these maps, so I never had to play Concealed Hill. Okay, so this map, I decided to go Keeper here, which I have not really practiced at all, but I think it's strong. The reason it's strong is because Keeper is pretty good at creeping this map. He's super fast at here because you get treants,
Our warriors have engaged the enemy.
and he's pretty good at the gold mine because you don't even have to take damage really, you just use mana up. And then there's also the chance that he goes priestess again, which he did. He actually went to harass right away, which benefits me a ton as well, rather than him creeping this with an archer. I think that would have been much scarier if he crept this. But yeah, with Keeper, I already finished this camp before he gets here. With Demon Hunter, there's probably the Tuskar Spear Thrower guy left, right? Because Demon Hunter creeps this a lot slower. He's melee, he doesn't have treant summons. I poorly get my archer ensnared here, in a bad position. But it does get saved. I missed the deny here, I attacked too late. But overall, this is really good for me, right? Like, I've already got a big consumable. I'm level 2.3,
Stand ready.
and he hasn't prepped anything. I think I tried to play like this before too with Priestess, but honestly, I really like just creeping on this map.
I stand ready.
And yeah, now I just get an easy level 3. And I don't really mind trading XP. I think Keeper benefits from it more, because level 2 Entangle is really strong.
Your building is
He can obviously detonate wisps and stuff a lot,
I stand ready.
but it's fine.
our warriors.
Like then he has to, you know, produce extra wisps just to counter my spells.
Your building is complete.
And let's see. I made my Hunter's Hall earlier this time, so that was good. Making Ancient Wonders for clarities. I got good Alchemist items with Evasion Gauntlet.
Your building is complete.
He put his Ancient War here, but he didn't actually use it, does he?
Our warriors.
He just
have
kind of creeps it
engaged the
anyways, yeah. So I think this is just pretty good for me so far.
Great finish.
Like I'm level 3.4.
Our warriors have engaged. the enemy.
Here I'm a bit slow though. I should have already been moving out to like here already. I didn't get a staff yet, even though I was here, so that was bad. I probably should have just used up my Wand of Illusion, since I didn't see an AP push coming or anything. Should have just used my wand to scout, bought the staff, moved out with my whole army. I kept my army back because I was afraid of a push, but I think I should have just moved out and crept like I ended up doing anyways. See, like now I pull my archers. I could have already been creeping this. I could have had staff.
Research finished.
I could have had vision with my 2 illusions. I scouted this,
Our warriors. Have
but honestly I wasn't even looking at the time, so I didn't even like
Your building is complete.
really see it. I don't know if it's a good idea to do an AP push against Keeper, but you know, some people will do it anyways, right? I mean, you definitely can still AP push, but you have to make extra wisps, right? As long as you bring extra wisps, maybe you lose a little bit of repair time on them, but they can detonate the entangles, they can detonate the treants if you need to detonate treants. Usually treants aren't too much of a problem to begin with though. But yeah, you can detonate the entangles, and that helps a lot. the key with fighting Keeper is making sure the fight is fast when you actually fight. So you got to kind of keep your stuff out of position until you're ready to like full on commit to the fight type of thing. So if he has APs out here and his Huntresses sitting back here, well, actually he probably wants APs even farther out or maybe along here. Like he could put them here and even have them in vision. And if he's like sitting here, I can't really move up. Otherwise he's just going to go right under me and force a fight. And that makes it hard to make full use of my Keeper, because what you want to do with Keeper is entangle and then run back, entangle and run back. Like you can't just like, or you don't really want to just sit there and take a bunch of Huntress hits on your archers. But it's hard to run back when I'm like running away from my base at that point if I have to stop APs here or APs here. He decides to expand though, which is also viable. Maybe he should have had a quicker tech though, so he could have had something, glaive upgrade and stuff. For myself, I decided to just get lots of archers and some talons this time.
I stand ready.
Although that was probably wrong, because I actually produced a Hunter's Hall. And since I produced a Hunter's Hall, I should have just got Dryads. Oh. And this is actually good position for me to be, well, I shouldn't say good position, but it's okay for me because I'm next to the shop. But I definitely didn't micro it as well as I could have. I lost a couple archers a little too quickly before I popped heal spray or heal scroll. But honestly, I don't think it's that bad trading. I think XP benefits me a lot more. Yeah, like he has one Huntress left now. Which I think is great for me. Like archers start to really shine when your opponent has no more Huntresses. And reproducing Huntresses at this point is kind of sketchy. He does have an expansion up though, but it hasn't mined much yet.
I stand ready.
I definitely should have been a bit faster here at healing and then counter pushing his expansion. I'm still a little slow sometimes at certain things like that. I mean, honestly, talons are fine. I think Dryads would have been better because he made so many Huntresses, but I don't mind the talons. Fairy Fire is pretty strong. And talons are cheap and 2 food, which means I can throw in more archers. Kind of surprised he just... I guess he was afraid of entangle. But yeah, now I head over here, and his expansion hasn't really paid off yet. And that fight middle just went really well for me. I have a good item as well. And it's kind of just game. He did actually get quite a few Huntresses again, but you know, if I get like, well, he has Wisps now. Yeah, he detonated that entangle. But I still have my Greater Mana Potion. Now that his Wisps are detonated, I can summon another set of Treants freely without worry. And Heal Spray starts to pay off now that I have such a high count of units and his Huntresses aren't as high as they used to be. It definitely was not a clean win though. could have played much better. I could have had Dryads instead of Talons. Like, I either should have had Dryads instead of Talons, or I should have, like, not even produced the Hunter's Hall, right? The Talons are more for if I'm facing Demon Hunter. Like, if I'm facing Demon Hunter, I want the Demon Hunter to get Fairy Fired, and I want him to not be able to produce bears. But since I was against Priestess, probably should have just made Dryads.